Our first speaker is Dr. Sandra Steingraber. Dr. Steingraber is a distinguished scholar in residence at Ithaca College. She's long been involved in the effort against fracking, and she is a world-renowned biologist and author. Dr. Steingraber.
Hello everyone, my name is Sandra Steingraber. I am a co-founder of New Yorkers Against Fracking. And in my other life, I'm an environmental scientist and an author. In my work, I research and write about things that many people don't want to hear about, like contaminated breast milk, the world's faltering plankton stocks, cancer. But I've never given myself a more difficult writing assignment than helping New Yorkers write comments on the revised draft regulations for high-volume hydraulic fracturing in New York, a 328-page book of legal rules that was released right before the holiday and for which we were given the legal minimum 30 days to submit our thoughts. And today is that 30th day of the public comment period. Not only did I have to persuade my readers to pore through mind-numbing lists of technical rules and judge their scientific soundness, the science itself was not available. The scientific basis for the regulations, the regs, is housed in another document, the draft supplemental generic environmental impact statement, the 4,000-page S-guise. That is a document that's not finished yet. The regs we had to comment on were released before the scientific inquiry that is to serve as their foundation is done. The regs are thus arbitrary placeholders as part of a legal maneuver that allowed the Department of Environmental Conservation, the DEC, to avoid missing a rulemaking deadline. So I was going to be asking people to read and comment on something tedious, impossible, and also absurd. And oh yeah, we were all going to do this during the 8 days of Hanukkah and the 12 days of Christmas. It was the writing assignment from hell. Governor Cuomo himself seemed to be aware of this predicament when he appeared as a guest on Susan Arbiter's radio program, Capitol Press Room, during the early days of the comment period. I was queued up on the phone to be the next guest to be interviewed when the governor was asked what he expected from this comment period. He laughed and he said, and I'm paraphrasing here, "We expect to hear from the 4 people in New York whom we haven't heard from yet." Well, Governor Cuomo, on this 30th day, we bring you not just 4 comments, but 204,000 comments. And counting. 204,000 and counting, because we know many people have hosted holiday comment writing parties, community comment writing workshops, faith-based comment writing after worship coffee hours, and we know many more comments are even now being postmarked and sent to the DEC. Some are handwritten, some are typed with footnotes, but all together they send a resounding message. Safe fracking is a myth. No regs, especially these ones, can protect us. So these boxes bring with them 2 messages today. One is for the DEC. We fully expect you, Commissioner Martens, to read and consider each and every one of these carefully constructed letters from the citizens of New York, and we will be watching. The days of secrecy in your agency are over. The second message is for Governor Cuomo. 204,000 is a big number. It's a lot of comments, and it's only the tip of the iceberg. We know that there are millions of more New Yorkers deeply concerned about fracking who are out there, who were too busy during these 30 days of the comment period, who are out of town. You haven't heard from them yet. 204,000 is a lot of comments. 204,000 is a lot of votes. Enough to swing an election, even in a big state like New York. So how did we convince so many thousands of people to spend their holiday on a book of arbitrary rules? It didn't take much, turned out. People realized their lives were at stake. Many groups came up with creative and thoughtful ways for people to submit. I came up with my own project called 30 Days of Fracking Regs, which worked like an advent calendar. Each day I posted 1 reg and then translated into plain-spoken English and provided some science for people to evaluate it. And without an S-guise to serve as a scientific basis, I had to do that research myself. Grassroots environmental education then developed a logo and ran radio ads, programmed the website, answered all queries, and downloaded and printed all the letters, which for my project totaled 24,000. And so, for example, one day I posted the reg about setbacks. The setbacks for New York are 500 feet from so your house can be 500 feet from a well pad. And I asked myself, well, what was the sound pollution like for that? So I did some research. It turns out a drill rig puts out 115 decibels of sound. To give you a sense of what that means, a helicopter is 105 decibels, and a jackhammer also comes in at 105. So then I did some research to ask, what's the decibel level 500 feet away? How does it attenuate? Well, it turns out it's far higher than 55 decibels, which is the maximum amount of decibel background noise you're supposed to have without suffering health effects. It's louder than the 45 decibels that you're supposed to have when you're asleep. It's louder than the 35 decibels you're supposed to be exposed to if you're a child learning to read. So at higher decibel levels than that, children have learning disabilities, and we ourselves develop heart disease and are at risk for high blood pressure. So the 500 is not sufficiently protective for noise pollution. And of course, drilling goes on for 1 to 2 months at a time, 24/7, 7 days a week. So here's just a sample comment of the many tens of thousands here on that regulation, that's section 560 of the Book of Regs. This writer took a different tack. She did her own research, and she writes, "This reg is inadequate to protect anyone from hydrofracking. The best data shows that 1 kilometer is not enough to protect health. There is scientific evidence that humans and animals are harmed by hydrofracking chemicals in water and air. Hydrofracking inevitably produces toxins. The 500-foot setback of section 560 is unscientific and arbitrary. To protect humans, livestock, and environmental health, hydrofracking must be banned until 1, an open scientific health analysis is conducted, 2, an open scientific environmental analysis is completed, 3, regulations are submitted that will protect health and environment and economic future and well-being of all New Yorkers, 4, these regs are commented on and accepted by scientists, health professionals, and the public." Submitted by Allison of Ithaca, New York. And lastly, we have an amazing spin-off from 30 Days of Fracking Regs called Homework Against Fracking, which college students did on their break, submitting not only many comments of their own as examples of their argumentative critical thinking skills, but also sat down with elementary school students and middle school students also home on break to help them submit comments. And if members of the press are interested, we have here, holding the beautiful purple dress, that's Ren Ostre from Homework Against Fracking, from my very own Ithaca College. And here I'll close with one letter from her project, written by an 11-year-old. "I am 11 years old. Sometimes I have bad dreams about fracking. I do not want it to pass in New York. We live near a lot of farms. If fracking passes, chances are they won't be farms anymore. There will be miles of road and pipes and drills. If the farms have been contaminated, no more eating local, no more fresh strawberries, no more real milk. I love to eat local, but fracking will stop it. And what will the future hold if fracking passes? Traffic, water pollution, death, sickness. That's not a world I would like to live in. Not at all. Governor Cuomo, not at all." Thank you.